Israel has sworn in Benjamin Netanyahu as prime minister of the most right-wing government in the country's history. It's Netanyahu's sixth term as prime minister. He was forced out of office last year after more than a decade in power, but mounted a political comeback by joining forces with Israel's far right. Netanyahu is still, though, facing unresolved corruption charges. He denies doing anything wrong. Let's bring in CBS News contributor Robert Berger, who's in Jerusalem. What about this coalition, can you tell us, makes it the most far right wing in Israel's history?
Well, there are two aspects of this, and both have a religious element. First, there are the ultra-nationalists whose emphasis is on Jewish settlements, in settling Jews in all the biblical land of Israel. They want to legalize dozens of illegal settlement outposts in the West Bank and expand existing settlements. And then there are the powerful ultra-Orthodox parties who simply want to make Israel more religious. For example, they want to curb the opening of shops and businesses on the Sabbath. And they're also getting massive subsidies for ultra-Orthodox seminaries and housing, and that is creating resentment among Israel's secular majority because the ultra-Orthodox don't even serve in the army.
You were kind of talking about this here, but one of the government's top priorities is to expand settlements in the West Bank. What will the Palestinian response to that be?
The Palestinians see settlement expansion as a land grab on land that they want for a future state. So there's always the danger of a violent response that could come in the form of rocket attacks or street protests or terrorist attacks on Israelis. This year saw the highest death toll on both sides in a decade, with frequent Palestinian attacks and nightly Israeli raids in the West Bank aimed at rounding up militants. So settlement expansion could raise tensions even further.
You know, if Israel is seen as escalating conflict with the Palestinians, how could that impact any attempts to normalize relations with pro-Palestinian states like Saudi Arabia?
Well, it certainly wouldn't help. But in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech today in the Knesset, or parliament, he said expanding peace agreements with the Arab states is a top priority. He didn't even mention the settlements. So Israel has longtime peace agreements with Egypt and Jordan. And in recent years, there were peace agreements signed known as the Abraham Accords with the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco. Now, Netanyahu is hoping for the big prize, which is Saudi Arabia. And, you know, the prospect of that might actually help him rein in the more extreme elements of his government.
You know, given everything that we've talked about here, what does the relationship between the U.S. and Israel look like under this new coalition?
If the settlement expansion plans go forward, it would certainly create tensions with the Biden administration because the U.S. sees the settlements as an obstacle to peace. At the same time, the U.S. and Israel have vital strategic partnership that I believe would remain intact no matter what. For instance, both countries have a mutual interest in thwarting international terrorism, and especially in preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons.
All right, Robert Berger, thank you so much. A lot of insight there.
Thank you.